Oh boy. I've been waiting to talk about this all week. What's going on here at Harvard? This is I think they're still getting our tax dollars. I don't know. They want your money so they can fund this crap though. Oop, that's not it. So, here's the story. We have got a scientist from Harvard was looking at a telescope, noticed some objects out in the distance in outer space. He thought it, everyone else that looked at it thought it was a comet. It's the size of Manhattan. But this guy, this Harvard scientist, Avi Loeb, suggested that it could actually be an intelligently designed alien craft observing Earth for a potential recon mission to invade. And this guy, I don't know where he gets his info from, but he's telling us that the invasion could come as soon as November of this year. That's right. Max the credit cards out, cash out your 401ks, get that second mortgage on the house, and take that trip to Cabo, baby. Fuck it, Dubai, have a little fun, right? Unless you're gay, don't go. They don't like you there. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Have a little fun, because we're getting invaded by aliens. Doesn't that sound fun? Here's what it says. NASA discovered 31 Atlas on July 1st, speeding through the inner solar system at 140,000 miles per hour, according to observations from the Atlas telescope in Chile. That's how fast I run when I get home and have to pee. It says, God damn, I fucking hate this app. It says the hypothesis in question is that it is a technological artifact, furthermore has active intelligence. If this is the case, then two possibilities follow. Dr. Loeb, Adam Droll, and Adam Hibbard wrote in a paper published. A paper! This is what these guys are doing. This is what these scientists are doing. They're not trying to cure cancer. They're not looking into how do we convert salt water into fuel. Nothing. They're talking about alien invasions. Now, here are the two possibilities. This is from New York Post, by the way. That these scientists have laid out, if it's aliens. They're not even considering the possibility that it could just be a rock. Now, these are some revolutionary possibilities here. And you're going to hear these and go, wow, they really thought these through. The first possibility are that its intentions are entirely benign. It's just observing. The second possibility is that its intentions are no bueno, and they're getting ready to invade us. They really thought those ones through. Well, they could have good intentions or bad intentions. Can we have another six-figure government grant, please? These are the type of kooks that want your taxpayer dollars at Harvard. That's what I'm talking about. The paper presented several anomalous characteristics of the object, which could indicate that it is a comet, or it is not a comet at all, but instead a directed craft. One of the most puzzling observations is that it has significant non-gravitational acceleration whilst having no cometary outgassing. And then it's a bunch of sciencey talk that neither myself nor my audience are going to understand, and now I'm getting ads for a Rolls-Royce on my screen, which obviously I've got my shit turned off, my off-app tracking, because they would know that I can't afford a Rolls-Royce. So, I told you that this was up their sleeve. I told you a year ago, do not put it past these people being the folks in power. If they feel their grip is slipping, do not put it past the people that have killed one president and tried to kill another to stage an alien invasion. No, we're not actually going to be invaded by ETs. Do not put it past these people, though, to do some type of fake alien invasion. And the reason I know this, we've covered it before. There was this whistleblower that came out years ago, said, hey, I was part of some top secret talks from members of the military industrial complex and the intelligence agencies where they discussed provisions in the incident that they felt they were losing their control or their grip on power in society. And one of the ideas they discussed, they didn't have the technology at the time, but they discussed they stash it away in the event that they did get the technology and they did need it in the future. It's an ace they kept up their sleeve, is that they would use holograms. And who even needs holograms now when we have AI and we can make all these hoax videos? But that they would use holograms to stage an alien invasion to get people terrified and willing to hand their freedoms back over to the government. Hand over total control. Just please stop the alien menace. Ronald Reagan made a comment during the Cold War, kind of similar to that, where he talked about, what was the comment? What was the quote? And I'm going to paraphrase here because I'm going to butcher it otherwise. But he mentions that if we had a threat from an alien force, all the powers of the world would come together to try to defeat it. Well, what are we doing here? World's pretty divided. Country's pretty divided. You've got this internal power struggle between the elites and these supposedly non-establishment folks in the Trump administration. Might be time to pull out the Project Bluebeam. I'm just saying that the elites are losing control. This is the least amount of control the elites have had in our lifetime. And they're only, for the worst part is they're only 5 years removed from the most control they've ever had back during COVID, which, yes, was the closest this country ever came to fascism in any of our lives. And it probably always will be. So they had, remember, these people are sociopaths and tyrants, right? They had that feeling. They had caught the dragon, right? That they had been chasing for so long during COVID. They caught it, and then they lost it. Do you think that these lunatics are willing to just hand it back over? No, dude, we are ruled by some very evil people. Very evil people who are willing to go to any extreme to exert their power over you and I. That's no secret. That includes lying about these alien hoaxes. Now, I don't know who these guys are, these doctors that are in on this, but as we've seen, the scientific community has no problem lying to you and me about whatever it is they're trying to push, as long as they could get money and power, and in Dr. Fauci's case, notoriety from it. This could be the new COVID that they use to take your freedoms. COVID was the new war on terror, and so war on terror was the new Cold War, and so on and so forth, right? This could be the new COVID. Now, I imagine there would be, we were talking about it off air, Mia and I were, if there was like an alien invasion, there would be 4 types of people. There would be 4 types of people. The first type would be the folks who have just been lied to by their government so often that they don't even believe the aliens are real. And maybe the aliens are real, maybe it's a Project Bluebeam situation, but they don't even believe the aliens are real. So they're just going to go about their lives, and if they get vaporized, they get vaporized. That would be the first kind. The second kind would be the people who got like 16 booster shots during COVID and double masked for 3 years and all that crap, driving alone in their car to work, those kind of people. These would be the people that were absolutely terrified. They would go to whatever camp the government told them to go to, so you can go be sitting ducks in large packs, soft targets for the aliens. Just absolutely terrified, screaming at other people that you're going to kill your grandma if you don't shelter in place at this totally not concentration camp from the aliens, stuff like that. The third type would be the redneck types that just want to shoot people, or that just want to shoot the aliens. Like that this is their excuse to crack off a couple of rounds at something that nobody's going to miss. And they didn't get zombies. Zombies was what they wanted, but aliens are a close second here, right? So they're thrilled about this for like a week. And then they realize how much it sucks to not have medicine, to not be able to go to the grocery store and get your food, to not be able to press a button and never see your shit again. Oh yeah, plumbing is one of the luxuries we don't think about. You know, they realize how much it sucks that your wife hasn't been able to shower or brush her teeth for 3 months, and now you don't want to have sex with her because she smells like she ate a dog turd for lunch. And then bathed in diarrhea. Okay. And then there would be the fourth kind, which would be the radical left lunatics who have found a way to sympathize with the aliens. And even though the aliens are here to either enslave or exterminate us, they would somehow find a way to make it so that straight white men were the oppressors of the aliens, as, you know, we're being vaporized indiscriminately in the streets. And we had this coming. Those would be the four main types of people. And of course, there'd be subcategories for all those. But those would be the four main types of people in an alien invasion. None of them are good. I would probably fall into that first category of people that just don't believe it because we're so used to being lied to. I think a lot of you probably would too. Well, drop a comment on YouTube or Rumble. What category would you fall into? What category are you going to fall into during the alien invasion? Now, here's a video of Jeremy Corbell from the Weaponized podcast. He's got a Netflix documentary with Bob Lazar. He's been on the Rogan show a couple times. This is a clip he had in a documentary show that he was in. Go ahead and check this out.
But the lie is coming. All indications.
Sorry, I want to clarify before we do this. Jeremy Corbell is a UFO investigator. Pull myself back up real quick. Jeremy Corbell is a UFO investigator. This is not, like an anti-government type person. This is someone who's looked extensively into extraterrestrials and just wants to know where it's coming from. This is his opinion based on government documents that he's seen. And this guy's gotten into some shit if you look into him. So this is not someone who's necessarily sympathetic to my ideology and my opinions on this. This is what he has to say. This is a guy who stands to profit a lot of money from extraterrestrials actually visiting this Earth and it being confirmed by the media. Keep that in mind.
But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from. I know specifically what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. A classified document. That is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. That's the lie. Maybe I'm wrong.
Lies, 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 lies! Lies, 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 lies!
So that was from January of this year, of 2025, where he says on the record, we're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. Now, the year he quotes in that interview, if you watch the full thing, it's on Twitter, is 2027. So November of 2025 would be a little bit early, but maybe the aliens, they don't operate on CPT. We don't know what the story is with the aliens, what type of time they operate on. I love how the guy who doesn't even, the scientist though, that doesn't even know whether or not this is just a rock, is speculating that it's not only that it's aliens, but what the intentions are and when they're coming. Oh, they could be here as soon as November. Have you called them? You've been in communication with them? Has anyone tried to be in communication with them? No? Okay. Then maybe we just chill for a little bit. Now, here's something that is scary out in space. As I saw today, there is an asteroid that's headed toward the moon, and it's going to have a 4% chance in the year 2034 of colliding with our moon, which would obviously be catastrophic. would cause a meteor shower here on the Earth. And everyone called Trump crazy. It wouldn't be like a mass extinction event, but it wouldn't be a good deal. But everybody called Trump crazy, and they made fun of him when he said he wanted to establish the Space Force, when it turned out the Space Force was something that the Air Force was already doing, but he was going to dedicate an entire branch of the military to it. Now, what they want to go out and do is they want to go out and they want to deflect asteroids and prevent things like that from happening. We're not talking about Halo 3 or any crazy kooky alien Art Bell conspiracy theories. This is a legitimate practice that could be used appropriately for national security, for world security. Fuck national security. To protect the world, and people made fun of him for it. But back to the alien invasion. They've been slow rolling this alien thing for quite a while. We've been covering it. Don't you find it a little weird how the demeanor toward it has suddenly changed in the mainstream? I mean, I mentioned Art Bell earlier, who's one of my heroes in talk radio, but conversations about UFOs for the longest time were shelved for late night talk radio. 12 a.m. We all know the rhythm, right? You know, you're driving home from poker night or whatever the case may be. You flip Art, or the late shift, you're a truck driver, whatever. You flip Art Bell on and you give him a listen, right? It's interesting. It keeps you up. It was better than just the normal 1990s conservative talk radio host. You damn-a-dums! It was entertaining. It was unique. People liked it. But that was all you got. That was the only place you got to hear about it. That and like really obscure internet forums back in the 90s. Tabloids, the National Enquirer or whatever. Then all of a sudden, the History Channel starts running this show called Ancient Aliens. And they get really into it. And they got a couple other ones. And it slowly starts to become more mainstream. You start to see more and more movies about humans making contact with aliens, not the occasional ones. I'm talking major blockbusters. Like Independence Day would be an example. Alien versus Predator. There's all kinds of movies, right? What was that? District? You know what I'm talking about. It was kind of a weird movie, but it was pretty big when it came out. So it becomes more popular in media. Then all of a sudden, the Hillary Clinton email leaks come out, and we find out that the Clintons and Podesta are obsessed with UFOs. They were so obsessed, they were in contact with Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 talking about UFOs. And it's kind of like, why would the Clintons, Bill Clinton was president in the 90s when the UFO craze kind of started to sprout up from the ground and late night talk radio. Why would they be so infatuated with UFOs? What did they see that made them go, I've got an unquenchable thirst for knowledge surrounding this topic, and I need to know more? What happened with them? Then all of a sudden you start seeing these videos come out from dash cams from Air Force pilots and testimonies from Air Force pilots who are of sane mind. They don't have PTSD or anything like that. They're just coming out saying, hey, I got chased by a craft. I don't know what I saw. It wouldn't respond to me. It moved in a way I've never seen before. I don't know what it is. That now you've got CNN covering it. We played a clip on the show a couple months ago. I believe it was MSNBC or CNN, one of the two, where they're talking about a testimony before Congress where a former Air Force official brings up the fact that they retrieved, and I quote, multiple out of this world crafts built of materials that were out of this world containing non-human pilots. Before Congress, this guy says it. You've got Anna Paulina Luna, who's a congresswoman from Florida. She's a Republican. There's a couple others, but she's the one really spearheading this. She's talking about it. She's making UFO disclosure one of her central issues. Could you imagine a member of Congress making a key part of their platform and a significant portion of the work they're accomplishing in Congress 20, 25 years ago? Could you imagine them making it UFO disclosure? they would be one and done, laughed out as a kook. Now nobody will touch her. Why? Don't you find it? And I don't think she's in on it. I think there's people feeding her information. I think you've got all types of people. I think you've got members of our government that are fucking with these Air Force pilots. I think they've been doing it for a long time. They've got these test crafts that are decades ahead of anything. I mean, look at the bombing on Iran. They use technology that a lot of people didn't even know we had. They've got crafts that are, or they've got military technology that's decades ahead of anything we even know we're capable of here. Why couldn't they fake something? Why couldn't they fuck with our pilots? Why couldn't they feed bad information to members of Congress and media? Why couldn't they use patsies to go out and give false testimonies? Or feed real members of military documents saying these are legit that are totally fabricated to get them to go out and testify upon the documents they saw in Congress? Why couldn't they do that? Honestly, if you're going to ask me what sounds more believable, the fact that we're going to get invaded by aliens in 4 months, or the fact that our government conducted a massive conspiracy to lie to the American people and scare us into submission, I'm taking the latter every time because that's happened on numerous occasions already. Alien invasion, to my knowledge, hasn't happened yet. I have to go based on historical precedent. The historical precedent of our government lying to us is far greater than that of us being invaded by extraterrestrials. It's like I said, if you were a CNN anchor and you ran 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and you ran a serious primetime news story on extraterrestrials and crafts from out of this world with non-human pilots, that would have been your last day on air. They would have relegated you to some minor consultant or correspondent job. You would have taken a massive pay cut. Your career would have been over. If you were a member of Congress 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that decided that UFOs and aliens were going to be the hill you died on, like I said, you would be laughed out as a lunatic. Your party would cut ties with you. Nobody would want anything to do with you. But for whatever reason, they stand idly by while she does that. The same establishment that dismissed this as laughable for the last several decades. Do you want my honest opinion? Do you want my honest, nuanced take on what I think is going on here? Why I think they've done a 180 for so long. I think there's a little bit of truth to both sides. I think the reason that they were so, like I said, anytime the establishment comes out and they just dismiss anything like they did with Pizzagate, like they do with the conspiracies about the Vegas shooting, anytime the establishment comes out and just dismisses something outright and they're in lockstep with their talking points, like they were with UFOs for decades, they're lying to you about something. You may not have the whole truth, but you've found a little bit of smoke and it might lead you to some type of fire. It may not be the fire you think you're looking for, but it may be some type of fire nonetheless. I think we have been visited by something that our government can't explain, whether it's aliens, whether it's angels and demons, interdimensional beings. I don't know what it is, but I think we have been visited by something that we cannot explain. However, I do not believe that what the pilots are testifying before Congress or the congressmen and media members that are bringing this issue to the forefront, I do not believe that that is actual evidence of extraterrestrials. I do not believe they would let them have that. I do not believe any of the people that have ever seen one up front are still alive for various reasons. I think people are being spoon-fed information right now, not necessarily in the past, but right now to cause a panic. In the past, they didn't need aliens. In the past, they had 9/11. They had the Soviets. They had all kinds of things that they could use to rile people up and just keep them a little on edge and maybe willing to hand over a couple of those pesky little civil liberties that you don't need all that much to the federal government. The problem is now, after COVID, a lot of people woke up to the bullshit that goes on in this country. And they go, oh, they really have lied to us time and time again to steal our freedoms, haven't they? It just took something as egregious and ridiculous as COVID, this virus with a 99.99% survival rate, for everyone to wake up and go, oh, you've been lying this whole time. You tried to keep me locked up. You ruined people's businesses. You killed far more people than you saved with your lockdown measures. And don't even get me started on the vaccine. Over a lie. You got American kids killed in Iraq over a lie. You stoked the fear, including making several fake bin Laden videos with CIA operatives, that's on record, to keep us scared and to keep public support up for the war so you could keep funding it. That was a lie. You lied us into Vietnam. And the list goes on and on. So a lot of people started connecting the dots, and they can't be lied to as easily anymore. And that's why the establishment's willing to try something as absurd as an alien invasion hoax to regain control. And that, ladies and gentlemen, they, thems alike, has been our show. We will see you on Saturday with Monty Scott if the aliens don't get here early. They're already ahead of schedule by like a year and a half, 2 years. So if the aliens don't get here early, we will see you fine folks on Saturday with Monty Scott coming in to talk all kinds of shit. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse, and stay based.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.